Surprise, surprise, surprise. Hey y'all, what's going on? What's up? Oh, I'm finding everything but my chapstick. Y'all hold on. I guess I shouldn't say hold on because ain't nobody here. But anywho, what's up, guys? What's going on? I know that this is a surprise. It has been an extremely long time since I have gone live. I can't even remember the last time I went live, let alone asking questions or answering questions, right? If you're coming in and say, hey, what's up? Let me know that you are here. Share, go ahead and get some people in the room. We're gonna do a live Q&A, right? I am sitting a little bit away from Mason's practice, but Mason is at soccer practice. We're gonna do a live Q&A. This is the perfect time to ask anything that you want to ask that is homeschool related. So we're gonna do that, right? It's been a while, but I know that a lot of people are transitioning into homeschooling right now as we speak because of whatever may be happening or going on. Hey, Chelsea. Um, if you are there, say, hey, what's up? Let me know that you are there. Share. Let's get some people in the room. Let's talk, y'all. Let's have some conversations about homeschooling. Let's do this, okay? If you're homeschooling, and let me preface this. You can ask questions still if you want to, but if you are homeschooling, let's have a conversation about what homeschooling really looks like for you or for your life or whatever the case may be, right? I what I don't like is that unfortunately um, something is happening that's causing a shift in homeschooling. And what it is that a lot of teachers, public school teachers, are coming to homeschooling and making it more in line with traditional school than what it, technically should be. And so that's a whole other conversation, but we'll talk about that. Hey, Chelsea. So, how did I create my own network? Are you speaking of my chicks, my friends, my girls? Is that who you're speaking of? If I think that's who you're saying, as far as building my own network and having my own personal relationship with homeschooling moms, where because we all been there, right? We've all been at the point where we walk into the place or walk into a space and you got those bougie homeschool moms, you got those super saved homeschool moms, all those kind of things that make you don't feel like you're welcome in that situation. We all y'all done broke my pen. Okay, you know what? Let me focus. I'm sorry, y'all. Um, and so what I will tell you, what it boils down to as far as building your own community is you're gonna have to put yourself out there, right? Like you're gonna have to step out there and try to communicate, try to get a feel for who you may like or who you may not like. Like you're gonna have to do that. And so for us, what it started with is because it was more important at first for me to put the kids, and it still is more important for me to put the kids in connection with other kids, homeschooling families. It was really important. Now, where I think it kind of was different, which I never paid attention to until my kids mentioned it, is like, see, I'd be trying to hold my tongue. There are certain things that we do in our cultural as Black people, culture as Black people, right? There are certain behaviors or certain ways that we do things that are completely different than other cultures, period. They're not the same. And one of the things was I was reaching out trying to find different areas for my kids to connect with different people. And they were different families. Some were mixed, some were white, they were all different families. But it was important for them for some reason, not for some reason, it was important for them to experience other Black homeschooling families. And that's what has been key for us. And so like we went to an event and we always go to events, they have fun, they have those people that they kind of chit chat with, they talk to that are cool. But we went to an event and it happened to be that there was a bunch of there was two other Black homeschooling families there, and they began to talk. The kids begin to talk about rules and what they do, what they can't do, and all that kind of stuff. And for the first time, the boys were like, they understood what they were going through. In other situations with other homeschoolers, it was not always the case. Like my kids would say, "Oh, we're not allowed to do that," or "Oh, we can't do that." And culturally, because it's something that we don't do, and so finding or being with somebody who identified with them was good. And so once that started happening, then we all just kind of connected. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, my best friend, the one that you see, my best friend, the one that you guys see all of the time, we have actually been connected with each other for almost, I think, like 17 or 18 years, but just recently, it has become more important. Like we have been more of a close knit group, close knit, like talk to each other every day, all that kind of stuff. And so what I'm gonna have to say is that you're gonna have to put yourself out there. Like you're gonna have to do it. And so you will find we have relationships with other homeschooling families that are not black. Excuse me. We have relationships with other homeschooling families that are not black, but it's different. And I don't know how to explain that to you. Like I don't know how to say if you've ever connected, it's just different. And so it's good for them to have those different types of relationships and connections. And so again, if I was going to say anything, especially when it comes to you, that's the clock. Excuse me. If I was going to say anything, you're going to have to put yourself out there. That means at some point you're going to have to connect with people, and then some point you're going to have to step out and say, okay, this person is for me or this person is not for me. And that's what it boils down to. Like you're going to have to kind of trust your judgment and yourself. And so if you are trying to build your network and build your friends, then it's important that you step out yourself and try to get that done. But again, leave yourself kind of open but guarded, like open, like, hey, I'm here, but not so much, so that you can, meet the people that you want to meet. We've been homeschooling for years at this point, and I'm not gonna lie. I want to say that probably this last year and this year has been the has been the best. Like it's been the best as far as the connection, right? It's been the best as far as us homeschooling together. It has been a blessing for us to say, like, there's two other families in particular. We're like, hey, what are you doing? What are you teaching on? Let's go do this. Let's do this as a group or whatever. So that has been a real blessing. Unfortunately, and I've said this before, I don't want to make this about race or anything to that effect, but um, unfortunately, what happens is you go into a homeschool environment where the leaders or the co-op leaders, whatever the case may be, are like, oh, we're all inclusive. We do this, we do that, we do this. And the leaders are very friendly. But then once you get into the inner workings of the actual organization, sometimes the families can be a little standoffish and weird. There have been times where my kids have, like, everybody has played together, but my kids, like, they literally left my kids out. And I don't know if that's from a fact of not knowing how to play with black children. I don't know if that's not knowing if they're the same. Like, I don't know if it's just comes from an unknown for the kids. And I don't blame the kids in any kind of way. And I don't necessarily think that the parents are racist or anything like that, but just in those moments, there have been several opportunities or times where my kids have walked in and been the only black family and then be left out, like the only black kids in that particular situation and be left out. Short of a leader saying, "Hey, how are you doing, Ayana? Hey, how are you doing, Deuce? How are you doing, Mason?" The rest of the co-op kind of left him out as far as that's concerned, and that's just an unfortunate part of it. I think that has a lot to do with people, kids warming up. But kids are very intuitive, right? They get in a space and they know when something is not right. And so what would happen is sometimes my kids would be like, "Oh, we can go back," but then sometimes my kids would be like, "No, I don't feel that." And so it comes from a place of you have to try. Like if you're trying to find your space, if you're trying to find where you belong, if you're trying to find where you should be as far as homeschooling is concerning, you have to step out. And there are going to be some days where it's good and it works out. There's going to be some days where it's bad and it doesn't work out. Like just being transparent and honest with you. And so that's what I would say about that. If you're just now joining me, say, hey, what's up? Let me know that you are here. My name is Sean Taylor. I go by the name of Sean, the Homeschool Guru. If you're part of the Guru Click, you know the deal. You know what's going on. It's just been a while since I've been live, but I am live here, ready to answer any questions that you may have concerning homeschooling. What I wanted to talk about today was what people believe homeschooling is and what it actually is, and what the difference is from the traditional school system. And why I'm doing this in particular, this particular conversation, is because I am finding that a lot of people are transitioning into homeschooling. And I say this all the time. Like homeschooling, the face of homeschooling is changing. Homeschooling is changing. Homeschooling is changing. It's not the conservative, uh, it's not the conservative I don't want to even go down that road, but it's not what it was. Okay. And so homeschooling is changing in that respect of things. With the same token, as it's changing with that, something that the panorama, y'all know I can't say the real word, something that the panorama did was it brought a lot of people who were in the traditional school system to the homeschooling world, and now they feel like they can homeschool, which they can, they absolutely can. Where the issue comes in with that is that a lot of people, like the teachers, are coming into the homeschooling world and trying to make homeschooling like traditional school. Hold on, you guys. Let me see if I can get some more light. Um, and so they're trying to make homeschooling like the traditional public school system. And it's not that. Like, it's not that at all. Like, that's not what homeschooling is. And it's important that as we uh, move throughout this, that we get that. So homeschooling is not always sitting in books and reading. Like, it truthfully is a lifestyle. Like, it truthfully is. And the only reason why I said it is because in particular, there's a lady on TikTok. I won't even say her name. There's a lady on TikTok. She is a teacher, a former teacher who has recently started homeschooling her kids. I think like in the last year or two, she started homeschooling her kids, and she has titled herself as this homeschooling expert. And her back amazing at this because like that's the whole entire thing. That's what it's based off of. And so for me as a mom who is homeschooling, who is not necessarily traditionally trained as far as the public school system, doing all the research, doing all the stuff that I'm doing, I'm understanding that that's exactly like that is the exact opposite. Y'all hold on, because I think this just switched to my car. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me know. Can you hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. We're praying. Can you hear me? Don't say no. Yes, yes, yes. Your mouth is moving, but we can't. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. I'm sorry, y'all. You know these newfangled cars. I turned the car on and it automatically connected to my phone. Um, okay, so anyway, what I was saying was thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. Okay, so y'all, if you follow me, then you know how I feel about the public school system. You know how I feel about the public school system, the teachers. Y'all know that by now. Like, I am not the type of homeschool coach that bashes teachers at all, because I believe that there are teachers that give a flip about our babies and want them to, succeed. Unfortunately, the business of public school gets in the way of that for them. That's my thought, and that's my belief. I choose to believe that every teacher has their best interest at heart until otherwise proven. Like, that's how I feel. Okay, so this is not a bash teachers thing. That's not what this is. But what I will say is this lady has had multiple years, I think almost if not a decade and a half of teaching experience, and she decided after Panorama to homeschool her kids. So when she came to start homeschooling her kids, she's been homeschooling for about a year. She's on TikTok. She's got like millions, like I don't want to say up to a million, well, maybe not a million, maybe I'm being, I'm over exaggerating, but she's got tons of followers solely based off of her calling herself an expert in homeschooling. She's been homeschooling for 1 year. And when I watch her videos, all I see is her replicating the traditional school system in the house. Like all the things that she's saying are connected to traditional school. Like, and don't get me wrong, there are families that will succeed based off of traditional school. There are families that will do great with that structure, right? There are families that still do that. If you are using like a Becca or you're using Sunlight, any of those, a lot of those are more traditional. They just have scripture and, you know, the biblical sense added to it. But the way it's created is actually aligned more with traditional school. Some of those will work, but what I don't want is I don't want people to think that that's what we're all doing here, right? Because we all know that there are different methods of homeschooling. Okay. So you can do the traditional where you're doing like a Becca and all that good stuff, worksheets, workbook, the curriculum, all that stuff. You can be eclectic where you've got different methods. You have the Waldorf, you have the Montessori, you have not the traditional, you have the, what is it? Oh my gosh, my brain just went. Um, the one where they use the old, like old English, like all that stuff. What is it called? My brain. Um, and so I think again, teachers are amazing, but what people fail to understand about homeschooling is a lifestyle. We are in a lifestyle of educating our children, right? We're using daily experiences, we're using things that we usually would do to educate them, right? We're taking opportunities to help them to succeed in a different way. Is it important for my son who does not want or will not have a career in math to know Pythagorean theorem? No, it's not important. It's not Charlotte Mason, because I like Charlotte Mason, not Charlotte Mason. But there are different methods of homeschooling. And so that particular mindset is important to us succeeding as homeschooling, right? There's different methods, there's different ways to homeschool. I get it all the time. People ask me all the time, is it possible for me to work and homeschool with my child? And I tell everybody, listen, everybody has the option to homeschool. Every single person in this world, not this world, in the United States, okay, because it's not legal everywhere, but every person in the United States has the option to homeschool. Period, point blank, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have the option. Now, okay, this is where it is. Is homeschooling for everyone in the United States? Maybe not. That's a decision that they'll have to choose. Okay. The second thing is, will homeschool look different for us? Absolutely not. I just spoke to you about my three friends. You guys have seen them, Nicole, and you've seen Kristen, my best friend. You've seen all three of us, right? All three of us are similar in our homeschooling methods, but we are very different. We're different, right? And so, with that said, although all three of us are homeschooling, Black homeschoolers in the same area, in the same room, we still use different ways to educate our children. We still use different things to educate our children. And so that's something to think about, right? So if you are working and homeschooling, your school day is going to look completely different than my school day, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I can turn off when I want to turn off ish, right? But you say you're out and you're working a 9 to 5 or you're working from home, you're not going to have the same freedoms that I have to educate my children the way that I do. Your freedoms are going to look very different. And I've said this over and over again. I will not. This is one of those hills that I will die on. Like, people say that, and listen, I won't die on the hill. Scratch that. I don't want to speak that in existence. But this is one of those things that I will keep speaking until I am blue in the face. Everyone has the option to homeschool their children. Period. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else to it. Now, is it for you? It's something that you'll have to choose. And then also, if it is for you, what will it take for you to get that done? For us, we had to sacrifice, right? I sacrificed my career. My career is non-existent, not in what I was previously doing. Now I'm doing something else that I love and I'm passionate about. However, comma, as far as my previous career in the transportation industry, that was something that we chose to give up. So we gave that up. We gave up a second income. Does that mean in the same token that that I regret it, just being honest with you. I don't necessarily regret it, but there are some moments when I was like, I kind of love what I was doing. I miss it. I wish, I mean, all of that stuff, right? And so our homeschooling looked like for us big sacrifice. That meant that I left the career that I was in. That meant that I did not earn an income that I was earning, and I was not earning pennies, y'all. And I'm not saying that to be messy. I'm not saying that to be like, oh, I was do. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it comes with sacrifice. So if you're a single mom, let's talk about this. You can homeschool your child and be a single mom. It's going to look completely different. The need for community is going to be way different than the need for community for me, right? Because I'm at home with my kids. I can drive my kids wherever they need to go. I actually, two of my kids now can drive, so they can drive themselves wherever they need to go as far as that's concerned. I have a husband that can help and assist when he's available. So that's going to look different. But as a single mom, your need for community as a homeschooler is going to be completely different because it's just you and your babies, right? It's just you. It's just you and your babies, and you got to get up and work, right? Y'all want to eat? Y'all want this biscuits and gravy? Y'all want this? Y'all want this pizza? Y'all want the lights on? Y'all want this roof over your head? Then I have to work. And so when you're a single parent, the need of community is going to be different. It's going to be completely different. But if you are single and you want to homeschool your child, it is possible. It is 100% possible. I'm not making it up. I'm not saying it like, oh, I didn't know, or oh, like I don't know what's going on. I have people that I am connected with that I know for sure that are single parent homeschooling and raising their child by themselves. Some of them are entrepreneurs, some of them are teachers. What this looks like is if you have an entrepreneur, your child may be sitting next to you doing their schoolwork. If you have a regular 9 to 5, that means we're using community, right? Okay. So this is what we're doing as a single parent mom. We'll hit y'all to some game. Okay. You're bartering. Okay. So say you find a homeschool mom, say Chelsea and I, you know what, let's do Marissa. Marissa and I are old friends, or well, we were friends-ish, right? We kind of got to know each other a little bit in high school, but we connected in high school. And so say Marissa and I are in the same city or in the same metroplex, right? And I say, hey, Marissa, I gotta work from 9 to 5. I know you're taking your kids to this homeschooling activity. Can you take the kids to this homeschooling activity? And then maybe I'll watch the kids this evening for you so you can have a break. Bartering, okay? Using that community around you, okay? One of the other things that you can do, say you're working 9 to 5 and you want your kids to get a break. Like, you want them to get away from you and you want them to get away from them, right? Like, let's just be honest, okay? We love our babies. They're amazing. Love you, boo, but you're getting on my nerves, okay? Say it's one of those type of situations. One of the things you can do is you can do one of the things, say you're working a second shift, maybe in the evening time. You're during the day, you're homeschooling your child, right? And depending upon how much you care of your child being involved with other kids that are not homeschooled, you could do this. Take them to an after school program at the local rec center. Okay. And this came from Lakeisha. If you've been a part of any of my conferences, then you've heard her say this multiple times. She's a single parent. She has multiple children. I believe she has 5 children total. She's a single parent and she homeschools. What she chooses to do is she chooses to homeschool her kids, do her work while they're at the house. When the after school program at the local rec center opens around 3 to 3:30, she takes them a couple times a week and drops them off for 2 to 3 hours and picks them up. She's able to relax. She's able to get anything done. She's able to get dinner done and then come back and bring them home, right? It's going to be important for you to use your community if you are a single parent homeschooling. I can't say it enough. If you're in the comments, say it with me. It is possible for every single person to homeschool. Every person, it is possible for them to homeschool their children. Now, there may be some obstacles. There may be some things that you have to pull, some strings. There may be some things that you might have to do in order to make it happen, but it's possible. It's 100% possible. Okay, let me go in the comments. Y'all are more than welcome to ask any questions you may have. Let's see. I love the eclectic style. Just one of 1,000 methods to gain knowledge. Yeah, eclectic that's what we do in our house, right? Some things are really traditional. We try to do math more so traditional because math on math for me. So I need somebody else to, you know. um, but that's what we do. We do eclectic. We've done eclectic the whole entire time, and that worked for us. That'll preach. We're not creating cookie cutter humans. Exactly. I feel that. Let's see. I mean, did I love my pre-baby body? Yep. But the sacrifice was worth it. Did I love my child-free income? Yep. Sacrifice was worth it. Homeschooling just happens to be worth its sacrifice in our exactly. That's it, Marissa. That is exactly it, right? That's it. It's a sacrifice. Everybody can do it. I'm not joking. I'm not pulling your strings. I'm not trying to hip you to something, right? Because you're the one who's going to have to live it. Are there going to be some good days? Yes, there are going to be some good days. Are there going to be some amazing days? There are going to be some absolutely amazing days. Are there going to be some days where you're going to the cross going, help me, Father? Absolutely. Like there are going to be days that are great. There are days that are going to be terrible, all of that stuff. But that comes with life, right? That comes with life. If you want to homeschool bad enough, you'll make it happen. And I'm just being honest with you. I can't do anything else but be honest with you and tell you that. Again, it comes with sacrifice. It comes with giving up some things. It comes with doing things different outside of the box. It comes with all of that. I told you Deuce, who was struggling on infractions, the way that I taught him fractions, adding fractions, as a matter of fact, when he was younger, was because he liked to, not adding, multiplying fractions, was because he liked to cook oatmeal for the family, or he liked to cook oatmeal. We use the rolled oats, so it takes longer for it to cook, right? Like not the quick, the instant one. So we use those. And one day he wanted to get up and make breakfast for all five or four of us. It was four of us here. The way that Deuce learned how to multiply fractions was by multiplying the recipe to make enough oatmeal for all four of us. Something so simple, right? That I had been trying to teach, that I was struggling for him to understand that concept. Him being able to multiply fractions and get, okay, I need this much water, okay, and this many cups of oats in order for this to be enough for the four of us. I need to add this much cinnamon, this much vanilla. Like that's how he learned how to do fractions. It's a lifestyle, you guys. It is not books. It's not like it is a whole entire lifestyle. Excuse me, y'all. Church families are a major gift and resource. Those grandmas and grandpas that want to serve by investing our time and skills into our kids. In return, we make efforts to save. I can't see. Serve them with choices and laughter, bartering. Exactly, bartering. So one of the things is, I just happened, my dad is close to me. My dad is retired. My dad is, if you know my dad at all, if you know me personally, then you know that Papa is a jack of all trades, right? He'll build something in a minute. He'll lay some concrete. Papa has not squirrels. Papa has squirrels that him and Granny feed. Like Papa is the guy, right? And so there are times where he just says, "Hey, I'm missing you guys," or "Hey, I'm missing the kids. Can they come over?" And he'll find them something to do. "Hey, we're gonna build this. Hey, we're gonna build that. Hey, we're gonna build this." I told my dad a couple of months ago, "Dad, I want a garden box. I want a standing garden box because I want to put something in the backyard. I want like two or three of them." My dad, in the midst of what he was, doing, built an entire garden box for me to do my garden in my backyard. That quality of time and the stuff that my dad is teaching my boys can never be duplicated. There is nobody that can take that place for my boys. Nobody. But you have that option, right? You're gonna have to use your community. You can't be a single parent homeschooler and think you're gonna do this thing by yourself. That's not how it happens. You can't do that. Like, and I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, even if you are married, you can't necessarily be in it by yourself unless it's you and your spouse doing it together. But if you're like us, my spouse doesn't necessarily have the opportunity to homeschool as much. So the bulk of it is on me, right? But you're not going to be able to homeschool all your children, you alone, by yourself, with no resources, no people to help you and say, "Hey girl, it's going to be okay. I know it was a rough day. It's going to be okay." Like, you're not going to be able to do that. I can't see y'all. My eyes are blurry. I'm sorry if I'm reading stuff wrong. See, Shelby says, "My highly active sunshine has asked to homeschool. We are still very new to Fort Worth, Texas. My questions are, what resources are out there for sports driven kiddos? How do we handle resources for special needs?" Okay, so Shelby, what I will say is you can take any lesson and you can make a science. You could do unit studies out of whatever sport highly active. You can do science, you can do math, you could do history, right? Say, for instance, my son Deuce right now, who is reading, I make my kids read 30 minutes a day. That is my kid that hates to read. My other two are like me. They can grab a book and they can be engulfed in it and just be just into it, finish a book, no problem. Deuce is the kid that's like, nah, I'm good. I can read. I don't want to read, and I'm not going to read unless you make me. And so one of the things that we're doing right now is I let him pick the book that he wanted to read. And the book that he is currently reading is he's reading a book, I think it's called Strategy, Basketball Strategies and something, something. So it's a book about coaching basketball. He's reading the mess out of this book, reading it to me. It might that at that, and it's like I have to tell him, like, you don't have, just because you don't enjoy reading this doesn't mean you won't enjoy reading something else. You can venture out and try new different, genres and all that kind of stuff, but let's try this, let's try that. So there's different things that you can do as far as sports are concerned, as far as the actual curriculum and all that good stuff. Depending upon the special needs, there's a book. If you go to my website, Sean the Homeschool Guru, there is a book that I recommend that I read when it comes to special needs. I do not speak too much on special needs homeschooling because it's not something that I'm well versed in. And so in order for me to, and I guess I try to be honest, right? So I don't want to give you tips and tools and all this stuff, and I'm not experiencing the things that you are experiencing. Okay. But there's an amazing book that you can do. Camping 20 days in Canada. So doing Canada study before. There you go. Marissa's doing a whole thing. So they're going camping for 20 days in Canada, which sounds absolutely beautiful and amazing. I hope it's not too cold, but she's doing a whole study on Canada before she goes, right? That's a lifestyle, you guys, that is taking the opportunity to learn the things that are important, that are important to you as a family. It is a lifestyle. Okay. Hi, watching from Dallas. Hey, girl. Hey. First time watching you live video. Definitely looking for a community. My family and I are new to Texas, and our family are in Midwest. It's sacrifices. We have no regrets. Yeah, it's 100% sacrificing. Angela, what I will say is get you a group of people that you can connect with at some point, because, and see, this is one of the reasons why I did the homeschool moms brunch, and I'm doing the homeschool moms brunch, is because I get messages like that. Like, I want to connect, I want to do this, but just as much as it's important for the kids to connect with somebody, it's important for us to connect as well. And so what I will say is you're going to have to put yourself out there. I'm not going to lie to you. You're gonna have to put yourself out there. And I'm not saying put yourself out there and tell all your business and then folks are talking about you and your life and your man. And that's not what I'm saying. But you're going to have to say, hey, how you doing? My name is Sean. Yeah, I've been homeschooling for a year. I'm new to this. Is there anything you can suggest? Or you're gonna have to say in these groups, hey, my name is Sean. Would y'all like to maybe do like a park day or something? Can we do like a park day every once in a while? You're gonna have to step out and do that. Okay. You're gonna have to do it. Like it just is what it is at this point. Life skills trump GPAs every time, right? Because GPAs don't matter. Hey friend, hope you're feeling good. Let's see, my granddaddy just flew here to do that with my family. Exactly, Chelsea. So listen, granddaddy is there. Enjoy that time with granddaddy. Take the opportunity to have him tell the stories that you have never heard. I'm not gonna lie, one of the best things that I love about my father's relationship, I hope that he joins live. One of the things that I love about my father's relationship, Papa's relationship with his he calls them my grands, with his grands, is that I teach my kids to be inquisitive and ask questions about anything. And so my kids will ask any question about anything, right? Like, so they'll ask those questions that, maybe are not I don't want to say politically correct, but my parents, my mother and my father are very open and honest with my kids. And so like they'll ask questions like, have you been arrested? And they'll answer, they'll tell the story, right? Well, what's going on? No, I wasn't arrested, but this one time I was pulled over and da da da. Well, have you done this? And they will have those conversations. We just recently found some family history out because we sat there and listened. My mom, y'all, my mom was a bad kid. Hopefully she's on here too. But my mom, child, we just recently found out, not recently, but we found out, my kids found out, like, how the kids used to play. Like my mom and her brother and them little critters used to, play in the drains, like the sewer drains. Like they used to climb down into the sewer drains and play. Like bad little kids. I know you're not supposed to say bad, but them kids was bad. They were bad. And so those stories, my mom telling stories about this is how this happened, this is how that happened, this is how I ended up in this position, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. Those stories will live with them for the rest of their life. They're so important. They are so important. Let's see. So we are gardening now too. Child, I'm trying to garden. I don't listen. I don't even have a black thumb. Oh, my thumb done fell off. I'm trying, y'all. Listen, say a prayer for you, girl. Nicole says, you're right. Community is so important. Okay, exactly. And Nicole is a huge part of my community, right? Nicole's on here. She's my friend. Y'all met her. Y'all seen her all over the place, right? She's a huge part of my community, and I'm a huge part of her community. This is the person that if things aren't going right, I call her. If I say, child, the kids didn't do nothing today, she'd be like, mine didn't either. Or she'd be like, it's okay. Brand new day tomorrow. It is important for us to have that community. It's important for me to connect with her and say, hey, you good? I haven't heard from you. Are you okay? Like, it is important for me as a homeschooling mom to have my friend be there for me and to be there for her. And so y'all are going to have to reach out. And the way that we connected, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this was kind of by chance as well. It had honestly had to be God. So I'm looking for training for my son, right? I'm looking for soccer training for Mason. Okay. I get a message from her saying, hey, she was a team manager at the time. Hey, we've got this team. Da 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 da. Maybe 6 or 7 months goes by. I don't respond. I don't see her message in Facebook. It's hidden or whatever, hidden request. Okay. I don't see it. Maybe 6 or 7 months later, I post another picture message saying, hey, I'm looking for training for my son. The coach sends me a message, right? And then when he sends me a message, he sends me this lady's name. And it was Nicole, who had already connected with me. Nicole and I met for the first time. They practiced, they tried out, they did all the good stuff. We kind of talked here and there. Her family ended up choosing to leave and do whatever they wanted to do. We came back, and then it was like instantly, we were like, oh, you homeschool? I homeschool too, girl. Like, that's how it started. It was us stepping out, connecting outside of the norm. That's how we connected. Thank you for the answer, Pie. Will you ask Grandpa, can we adopt some of us? Listen, Papa has 3 grandbabies. Guess that he only has 3. My 3. That's it. Those are all the grandbabies. And all his grandbabies are in teenage years. So I don't know about if he gonna adopt some of y'all. I don't know. He might though. I might have him teach y'all a little something. Let's see. I agree. I wanted to attend the brunch and found your page a day before the brunch. Okay, Angela. So the good thing about the brunch, the good-ish thing about the brunch is I ended up having to postpone it because my family right now is currently going through, I'm not going to even call it turmoil. It's going to be a blessed situation regardless. I'm just going to say that. Right now, we're in a huge transition. There's a lot going on, and I mentally could not focus on the brunch and give you guys 100% and also focus on my family. And y'all know how I feel about that. Family first, regardless, period, point blank. Like, that's it. Period, poo. Ain't that what they say? Like, that's it. Family first. And so what I did was postpone it. So you actually haven't missed it. We'll have a date for that. It's tentatively scheduled for July. Exactly. We have the elders talk to the kiddos often. Yes, absolutely. Heron Kishishi. I have a 6.5 and a 2-year-old. Just started homeschooling this year. Any tips you can give me? Okay, so the 2-year-old, you're going to do lots of learning via play. You're going to lots of hands-on activities, right? The 6-year-old, the 6.5-year-old, I don't know if you deschooled, but I will always say deschool, whether you had them in the traditional school system or not. Deschool, deschool, deschool. That is absolutely important. When you're teaching kids, when they're, as far as the time limit, because we're used to thinking that you go to school, let's just say, and I'm going to use my old schedule back when I was in high school, we had to be in school, if I remember correctly, 7:15. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marissa. We had to be there at 7:15, and I believe we got out of school like 2:30, 2:45. So we're used to the thought process of an educational day being that long, right? But there are certain circumstances that make it that long. When you are home with your child, it should never be that long. Your school day should never be that long, regardless if they're in high school, elementary, whatever the case may be. Based off of their age, you're going to teach them only a certain amount of time each lesson. So you have a 6.5-year-old, you're doing maybe 15 to 20 minute lessons a piece, right? So you're doing 15 to 20 minutes of math,
and you're doing 15, 20 minutes of ELA, reading, history, all of that stuff. Like, you're doing it that way. So your school day should be, fairly short. Now, I know people think, well, that's not a very long day, but you incorporate other things to help with those things. You don't necessarily just, we're going to do 10 or 15 minutes of math and be done. I mean, you could, honestly, but it's going to be that type of situation. But the 2.5-year-old, you're going to need you some busy boxes. You might have to do some circuit boards. It might be too advanced for the 2.5. I mean, for the 6, you said 2.5-year-old. It might be a little too advanced, but you're going to have some busy boxes. You're going to have some stuff for them to do, especially do when you are working with your 6.5-year-old. Okay. But it's going to work differently, right? If the 2-year-old is taking a nap, then maybe during that nap time, you guys are getting schoolwork done. It's going to look different. And I say that all the time. If you know it, say it with me. Everybody has the opportunity to homeschool. Everybody has the opportunity to homeschool. It's just going to look different. Your homeschooling way will not necessarily be my homeschooling way. Shoot, can I be honest with you? Our homeschooling day doesn't always look the same from day to day. One day, I think I got it licked and it works. And then we try to do the same thing the next day. And I'm like, oh, that didn't work. Let me try something else. Let's see. Yep. Stepping out and being intentional to build community and connect. Grandparents and community are great, but you have to be willing to ask for help and their involvement. Don't be shy. She's absolutely correct. You have to be willing to say to them, hey, I need, okay? Especially when it comes to the single parent thing, especially. And I know I keep saying that, but it's because that's probably the biggest thing right now, especially with all of the stuff that is, happening with the violence in the schools or whatever the case may be. All of that stuff that's happening, it's like you get parents who are overwhelmed because, once again, nobody sends their child to school thinking that they will never return, that they will never come back home, right? Nobody sends their child for that, right? And so then they get in a panic and they want to begin homeschooling, but then the fear is, well, I'm a single parent and I have to put, food on the table and I have to make sure these lights stay on. And it's like, well, sweetheart, you can. Like, just because you're homeschooling doesn't mean that has to stop. It's just going to look different. It's possible. Nicole, I've got to do better about, yeah, absolutely, pushing the kiddos. And you do. And I mean, our kids connect, lucky for all of us. So again, I keep talking about the same two. And that's the reason why I keep talking about the same two is because I know that I have their permission. I have their permission to post their kids. I have their permission to speak on, certain situations, like, top surface level conversation, right? And so, but that's important. Nicole, myself and Kristen, my best friend, I'm the center point of that, right? Those two connected because I was connected to my best friend and then I was connected to Nicole. But right now, in the same token, we are building our own little community between the three of us, right? Like, we're saying, hey, when you go on a field trip, let me know. Or like Nicole has said flat out, I want to teach science. I'm thinking about doing this. How about we do a Zoom class and then we do a field trip and then we do this? That was not planned. Like, that wasn't something that we just like said, hey girl, you should teach a science class. Like, that's not what happened. Like, it literally was, hey, I think I'm going to do this and I would love to do it with you guys. Like, I'd love to do it with this group of people. This group of people. Okay. And so you're going to have to step out, y'all. Now, listen, I'm going to drive. I got to go get my son. And I'll answer questions in the meantime. I don't know what time they're. Nicole, are you at the field? I'm new to your page. Where are these homes core chronos coming from? Which I'm in North Texas right now. I'm in North Texas. Okay. I'm gonna be driving. I will answer the questions on the thing as I stop, but I'm just gonna keep randomly talking in the meantime. But to be honest with you, it is possible for every single one of us to homeschool. It just is. It's an option. And I can't say it enough. I mean, I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I know that you may feel defeated. I know you may feel like it's not an option because it just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem like it could be, but it is an option. It's just going to look different than you think it's going to look. And that's what it boils down to. It's going to look completely different than what you think it's going to look. Okay. No, child. Yes, Nicole. We were way out here till 9 o'clock. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? It's a mess. And we're not close. We are not close. We didn't get home kind of late, too late. But yeah, it's a mess, y'all. It's a mess. But anyway, everybody has the option to homeschool, but it's going to be important for you to find your rhythm and what works for you. It's also going to be important for you to understand that it's not always going to look the same. It is not going to look like mine. It may not look like Nicole's. It may not look like Chelsea's. It may not look like Marissa's. It's going to look different. It's going to look completely different. And it's important to grant yourself some grace in those moments while you're trying to figure out what that difference is, right? Like that's important for you, okay? But it's possible. It is possible for every single one of us to homeschool. It is 100% possible for everybody to homeschool. It's going to look different. I talk all the time. I keep talking about the same two clients. I have two clients. They are both nurses. And I say that y'all have, if you follow me, you've heard me say this story all the time. The nurse works 3 days on, is it 4 days on? 3 days on, 4 days off. She works that way. Okay. So she works on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 7 to 7. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is what she does. Okay. This is the way that she homeschools her kids. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, she works 7 to 7. Okay. Sunday or Monday when she comes home is a rest day. All she does is rest, right? She gets some sleep, try to catch up, maybe do a little cleaning, something to that effect. But she's trying to kind of recuperate from working 7 to 7 for the last 3 days. So she does that, okay, on Monday, right? Then Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday are the days that she chooses to actually homeschool her children. So those are the days that she does the one-on-ones. Those are the days that she assigns the worksheets. She gets all the stuff together. Now, for that to work for her a little bit better, she uses a box curriculum so that there's a list of things that they can be doing while she's not there versus sitting there like me where I'm eclectic and I have to plan what it is my kids are going to do. She uses a box curriculum so it lists everything that she needs to do or what they need to do per day, okay? And so her homeschooling is literally 3 days. That's what she does, okay? That's what her homeschool day is. So the kids have all the stuff. And again, this also, another thing you need to keep in mind is how independent your child is, right? If this was back when we first started homeschooling, my kids weren't very independent. So something like that would not work, right? But as they have gotten older, 19, well, one's graduated, but let's say last year, 18, 19, 16, and 13, they're more independent. And so the responsibility is for them to get their work done. That's their responsibility. Now they can choose to do it or choose not to do it, but they understand that it still has to be done. So even if you don't get it done, guess what? You finna miss practice until you get it done. You didn't get it done. Oh, gotta call coach and tell him you can't make the game because you didn't get your stuff done. Right. So the level of independence matters in that thing is also okay. That's a big deal as well. That matters as well. Okay. Um, and so her schedule again is she works Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. And then Monday, say she sleeps. Let's just say she sleeps, catches up on housework. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is when they do the bulk of their homeschooling. I have another client. Her husband works days. She works nights. There are ships passing, literally. He comes home from work at around 5. She's got to be at work at 6. So they come in, get a little kiss, and then she's got to go to work. The way that they do it is each spouse is assigned a certain subject, right? So the husband, when he's home, teaches 2 or 3 subjects he's responsible for. And then the wife, when she's at home with them during the day, she teaches 2 to 3 subjects. 2 or 3 subjects. It depends on what they're doing. And she's responsible for that. So she's responsible for the schoolwork. She's responsible for making sure they understand. If there's homework or anything, projects, she's responsible for that. And then he's responsible for that. So again, it is possible for you to homeschool your child, but it's going to look different. You cannot expect it to look like it's going to like everybody else. You cannot expect it to look like it's going to be traditional school because guess what? It's different. It's not going to look like traditional school. Homeschooling is not traditional school. It's not. Period. It's not. So it's not going to look the same. Hold on, y'all. Let me get to where I'm going, child. I need some lights where I'm at. Guess we don't get no lights. But yeah, it's not going to look the same. It's just not. It's not going to look the same. And that's something that you have to remember when you're homeschooling. That is something that you 100% have to remember. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? It has almost been an hour. Y'all know I try not to be on here more than an hour. But I think I'm going to get back to doing this. If you remember, if you've been with me for a while, then you know that I go live. I typically go live every Tuesday and Thursday. I try to go live. I'm going to try to do that again. Okay. Try to get that started again. It's a big commitment. And then sometimes I'll be looking a fool, y'all. And I'll be like, I don't want to not look a fool to go live. Like, I don't want to do that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, see, there go the comments. I was missing them. Let's do this. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, cousin. Y'all, that's my cousin. That's my cousin in the comments talking about I was so close to doing it. That's my cousin. That's my blood. Cousin. You know what? I'm going to tell you, like I told you, I'm here when you're ready. If you ever decide that that is what you want to do, I'm here. She's talking about, I know. I'm here. That hasn't changed. So if you ever decide that this is the route that you want to go, I'm here. And if it doesn't pan out, or it's something that you choose not to do, that's okay too. Like, I'm not the homeschool coach that beats up everybody. Like, I am not with that. I'm not the homeschool coach that does that. Do you keep the live up a few days? I want to be able to go back and listen to her. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I keep it up. It'll be here. I might replay it tomorrow as well around lunchtime. But yeah, it'll be here. I don't think there weren't that many questions, again, because it's been a while since I've come live like this. I used to do it every Tuesday and Thursday. But life kept lifing, and I be liking to, like, not get out of my pajamas and put a bra on. And I think y'all want me to put a bra on. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just saying. I like to be comfortable sometimes, and I don't want to do that. And then sometimes life is hard. Like, life is lifing right now, and I'm not complaining, because it could always be worse, and we have been kept. But she's talking about, girl, please do exactly. So listen, I will try my best to start coming live every Tuesday and Thursday, and then maybe on the weekend as well. Um, in the midst of lifing, uh, I will try my best to do that. Y'all might even have to call me out. Y'all might have to say, you know what, that's what I do. I ask on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'll be like, you want me to come live on Tuesday? And if don't nobody comment, don't nobody put nothing in the share comments or nothing like that in the post, I'm not gonna come live. I'm gonna put it on y'all. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna schedule a post to post every Tuesday and Thursday. Y'all want me to go live today? It's Tuesday. Y'all want me to go live? And see what y'all say. If y'all don't say nothing, then I'm gonna be like, they didn't say nothing, so I'm not coming live. Please do. I'm in South Carolina and love your page. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna make that post though. I am gonna make that post. I'm gonna be like, y'all want me to go live today? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start doing that. Y'all want me to go live? And then if y'all don't answer, y'all don't put comments in there, I'm gonna be like, oh well. What's a good time? Because I used to think that lunchtime was good too, but lunchtime is different for everybody. Sometimes it can be second lunch. Y'all know how that goes. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to have that conversation with you guys. Again, I keep saying that everybody has the opportunity to homeschool. The biggest thing to remember is A, that homeschooling is a lifestyle. B, it's going to look very different. Okay. So it's going to look different for everyone. It's not going to be the same. And it may not even be the same from day to day. Like, part of being a homeschooler is literally being able to fly by the seat of your pants. Just being honest. I'm not going to lie to you. We're flaky as homeschoolers. If you're a homeschooler and you in the comments and you flaky, put me a heart or a thumbs up or something in the comments, so so they know I'm not the only one. We're flaky. Like, I will plan lessons and then I'll be like, you know what, we're not doing that lesson. We're going to do this today. Or I'll be like, we've got this schedule today, but we're not going because it looks stupid. Like, yeah, she said, yes, indeed. Times vary. So yeah, they do. It's difficult. It's really difficult to get everybody on the same page. I think I'm just going to, I'm going to try to do the Tuesday and Thursday thing. Chelsea said, yup. We always tell people that homeschooling isn't separate from parenting, but it's just a part of it. Is which it's interesting that you mentioned that, Marissa. Okay, because so I am a traditional, I'm a black mama, right? Okay. My mama was born in well, I don't, was she born? I think she was, yeah. My mama was born in Dallas, right? She from the hood too. And my daddy was a country boy in Texas. And they had black mamas, right? That y'all know what I'm trying to say when I say they had black mamas. So some of the ways that they parent and disciplined were very similar. And then they raised us, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I turned out to be a pretty good person, right? So the way they parent, I'm gonna parent my kids that way, right? There may be some things I tweak, but they got they got the master plan, right? Because look, they raised 3 kids, we good, we all gravy, right? But then as I began to homeschool, something changed in my parenting where black mama no longer worked for our life. Like, I couldn't be walking around hollering and screaming and ready to pop on my kids, because what kind of life was that for them? Like, mentally every day. Like, what? Discipline and hollering and all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm not saying that's what my mama did. I'm just saying, as a black mama, if you black mama, you know what I'm talking about. But what type of life was I giving my children at home with them every single day? It was terrible. Like, something had to change with my parenting. Something had to change with the way that I treated my kids, versus the way that I used to treat them. It had to change. It's interesting that you mentioned that. It had to. Homeschooling is what kicked off the thought process of changing my parenting. If you homeschool and it doesn't make you question every system you have in your life, then you ain't doing it right. If it doesn't make you question your relationship with God, like, am I really who I say I am? Because these kids are driving me nuts. If it doesn't make you question the government and why they do the things they do, and researching and being inquisitive about that, if it doesn't make you question your parenting style and how you treat your children and your relationship with them, if it doesn't let you make you reevaluate how you handle your spouse, your relationship with your spouse, or your best friend, your friends. Listen, if it doesn't, then you're not homeschooling correctly. I'm just being honest. Everything is up for question for me, right? Everything, right? I have gone through every system. Uh, the government system. Well, I be. It ain't what I thought it was. Okay, learning about that. My relationship with God. Huh. I thought I was pretty close to him. Apparently, I am kind of far away. Let me get that together. Okay. My friendships. I'm flaky. Mm, Some days I'm there for them and some days I'm not. When I should reach out to them because I know I'm supposed to reach out to them, I don't, because I feel like I'm being stupid, or whatever the case may be. I'm being too clingy, or whatever the case may be. Had me reevaluate that. It had me reevaluate that. My husband, the way that I talk to my kids with patience and kindness, because I'm trying to parent differently, do I talk that way with my husband when he gets on my last nerve? Mm, Okay. I don't. This is me being transparent with you, right? If you are homeschooling and it does not change the way that you think about each and every system in your life, then you're not doing it correctly. You're not. You're not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's see. Some days I tell my son to ask Google. Yeah, listen, that's real life. Like, and you know what? My kids are notorious. I'm gonna try to get them when I get home. We'll try to record them. My kids will ask a question. Hey, mom, what does this mean, or why do they do this? And the very first thing I'll say is Google it, because I'm not gonna do is have all the answers for you when you can research it and do your own research. That's what I'm not gonna do. Go research it for yourself, and then let's talk about it. Let's have that conversation. I love it. I think the Holy Spirit changed some of that DNA that we were parenting under and made us new kinds of parents. Yeah, I think you're right. Girl, question those systems. Isn't that the truth? I mean, listen, I say it all the time. If you are homeschooling and you're not questioning every system that you're a part of, then at some point, and I say question like this is what I mean by questioning. Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Or why are they doing the things that they are doing? If you ask that question, it'll make you dig deeper. Whether it's, if you're a believer, whether it's, why, let's just say, I don't know, why am I supposed to act differently than this person? Or why should my light shine brighter than, da da da, all that kind of stuff. Like, it should, y'all done? What's the matter? Okay, I'm on live. You had a rough practice? Okay. Y'all, Mason's here. Take a deep breath, son. It's gonna be okay. Did you get everything? Yeah. Okay. Mason had a hard practice, y'all. But if you don't question every aspect of things in your life, then you're not homeschooling correctly. I'm sorry. You have to question it at some point. Like, you have to, even, God, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Even if it's that. Okay. Am I walking the way that I'm supposed to be walking? Am I representing you correctly? Am I, like, in my everyday life? Okay. Even that. I hear you, cousin. Just said, hey, homeschooling nephew. He waved, child. He mad. Funny story. Driving past a crow eating roadkill, and the kids ask why I don't eat roadkill. Okay, why don't we eat roadkill? Looks like we're about human digestion next. Exactly, learning about, exactly. But you have to sleep it on. You have to question those systems. And I'm not doing it. You Google everything. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get off of here. It has been an hour, and my son needs me. He's having a moment. He's having a little moment. So I'm gonna be there. Listen, I'm gonna do it I'm gonna do Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm gonna create a post that says, should I go live today? And if I don't get no comments, no hearts, no nothing like that, I ain't going live. I'm gonna mind my own self business. Yes, everything is a teaching moment. You're absolutely correct. Everything is a teaching moment. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get him home and talk him through this, make sure he's good. But you guys have an absolutely wonderful night, and I will check you guys later. Bye.